Tycoon on the beat.
Hi, everybody. I am Kimberly with Support Sister Sunday. I may be doing this alone. That's okay. No worries. Anyway, so I want to talk to you guys today about there's power. There's power and pain as a woman. We are womans. We are living in our true essence and our divine energy of sorts. We know that we are powerful beings. We know that we are here to be teachers and leaders and examples of things. As a woman, we are the ones that are the cores of the universe. You could search what a womb man is, and I tried to do the video to download it to show everyone, but it's taken too long to download. So with that being said, when I say there's power in pain, we have to grow through things to be able to learn things. I talked the other day to someone, and I said that, I wish, they say they didn't know where Jesus went from the age of 13 to 33 or something like that. And I was like, what if he went and he was learning all of this stuff, from the monks and the all the different religions, all the different spiritual essence of beings. He's learning how to be him. He was learning his peace and his purpose along the journey, because he was raised knowing he had a purpose. Us as humans, and I'm going to put myself in that category loosely, um we're not raised to know our purpose. We don't know why we're here. We don't know what's the reasoning to being alive. We're learning as we go. There's no book, there's no step-by-step directions of what to do and how to experience life. There's nothing showing us this is what we need to do and how we need to be to experience life. There's none of that. So we're going through things blindfolded almost. We're going through things learning as we grow through things. And people have to realize there's power. You have to be uncomfortable to become comfortable. So there's power in that pain. There's power in the learning states. So today's frequency, I apologize. Today's frequency is about not only reprioritizing yourself, yet realizing why you're here, realizing what's important to you, realizing your purpose, walking in your divine energy of self, reprioritizing, removing things that are not of you, realize people's different positions in your life and what it's for. Not everybody is in your life meant to be there forever. Not everybody. Some people are meant to be in your life just temporary, to learn something, to be able to pass something on, to be able to grow. And maybe it's not forever. Maybe that's not going to be your husband, your wife, or whatever the case may be. Maybe that person is in your life just to experience something with you. So with that being said, I said that to say this: don't hold on to things that are not of you. Realize what the reason they're in there for. Realize why they're there. And gain whatever's from that. I've been through some things a lot lately, a lot of traumatic things, and I didn't allow it to break me. I didn't allow it to stop me from growing. I didn't allow it to hold me back. I didn't allow it to get the best of me, to become me, to overtake me. I was able to receive the message that it was meant for. I was able to receive what I had to out of it. And I'm able to grow from it, heal from it. So I'm receiving it in a positive manner. And I'm going to be able to pass it on in another positive manner. So you have a choice in life. Either you learn what you have to out of that lesson to grow through it, or you allow it to become you and you go through it. That's your choice. But there's so much power in pain. There's so much things that I know now that I will never allow myself to go through again because I'm growing through the situation. I will never allow, not consciously, not willingly. It may happen, but I know the signs now to stop it before it does happen. I know what I have to do to change it before it does happen. Can you receive that? Do you accept that? Do you have an understanding of how powerful you really truly are? And what do you see for yourself? That's the message. That's what we need to see in life. That's what we're here for. Do you think that we're here just to live? Just to try to survive? Just to try to get through it? We have a message we have to pass on. We have a purpose. If we didn't, what was meant to break us would have broke us. All those things that are in our way would have stopped us. Would have held us back if we didn't have this purpose, if we didn't have this reasoning of why we are here. There's so much power being a woman. There's so much power of knowing who you are, living in that divine energy of self with your Christ-like conscience. I don't think I'm better than anyone. I don't think I have it all figured out. I just know what's thrown at me will not stop me, will not deter me from growing. I am better than I was yesterday because I learned so much through my pain, which will allow me to be better than I am today, tomorrow, if tomorrow comes, because tomorrow's not promised to no one. It's all about the moment, what you're doing with it now, living in that divine moment of now, in that presence. People say woulda, coulda, or I will. I will tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. How do you know you have a tomorrow? When you come to Judgment Day and you have to walk in front of the Most High and you have to say what you've done wrong, you have to admit your truth. You can't deny that to the Creator that knows all. You have to explain what you've done in your truth and come to terms with your truth. I realized a lot. I wasn't a good mom. I thought I was. I thought I was because I was using standards of what I had for a parent as my baseline. So I was better than that. But she wasn't a good mom. She was going off of her standards of what her baseline was. So I don't know who has it all figured out, and I don't know who is the best parent out there or who is the greatest mom. At the end of the day, I was 17 and I knew no better. And I was a habit. I was living in the cycle of a generational curses of repeating bad habits, repeating things. I always thought that My whole thing in life, the reason why I was here was to, after I was young and I had my child, my whole reason of being here was to be a mom. That gave me purpose. I took that serious. I tried to be the best mom I could for the circumstances I had at hand, for what was given to me at the time. At 17, I shouldn't have been a mom. I don't regret my son. I don't regret my choices. I have no regrets in this realm at all. Because I wouldn't be who I am today if I lived on regrets. And I love who I am today. I had to grow through a bunch, though, to get to that point. But I don't regret none of it at all. I know that, if I didn't have him, who would I be now? Where would I be now? Maybe doing many other things. Maybe being something huge. I don't know. I don't know. But I had no want. I had no drive. I had no reason to even be, because I wasn't wanted when I was younger. So I accepted what was coming to me blindly. I was accepting anything for this false sense of feeling wanted and loved and appreciated and valued, because I didn't get that. I didn't receive that from my parents. I didn't receive that as a child. I always felt pushed off and thrown aside as a child. So if I didn't receive, how did I know what I was searching for? I didn't know the proper at all because I never received it. So I was going off a broken baseline again. In that baseline I was going off was so tainted and so disruptive that I accepted anything from anybody. I didn't properly. I learned a word the other day, and I got introduced to it again last evening. Vetting. If you don't know what vetting is, you should research it. Vetting is investigating, taking down notes, looking at an educated guess on someone before you jump into a situation, going down the structure of check lines and saying this before you jump into a situation, especially if I wasn't doing it alone, especially if I had a child and his father wasn't in the picture. There was my first mistake. And I don't mean mistake as if my child's a mistake. I shouldn't have had a child if I wasn't ready to do parenting with another individual. Us together should have done that because my son needed his father. Because he didn't have his father when he was a youthful child, he learned to not respect women, including myself. I don't know that individual. I thought I did. I don't know that individual. That individual put his hands on me. Obviously, I didn't do something right. He lost respect to me a long time ago. That individual got rid of something that's important to me because it doesn't matter to them. Because I don't matter to them. That's plain to see. I can't blame him. I can't control his action because he's a grown man. He's about to be 32. I cannot control his actions and his choices and how he acts. I provoked that, though. I gave him something to not respect along my journey of me trying to be a parent because I didn't know how to be one. So if I would have vetted first, if I would have investigated before I jumped into a situation, and I would have vetted instead of dated, my son wouldn't have got experience to the things he got in experience too, because I would have known that person before I involved my son into it. He didn't ask to be here, nor did I. But it's a cycle, and I allowed it to keep going. I allowed that thing to keep repeating itself over and over and over because even though I didn't ask to be here, my parents didn't ask me if what they were doing was affecting me. They didn't care because they were trying to do the best they could, which disrupt me and how I was. So I continued that cycle, and I did the same thing to my son. So now my son is doing the exact same thing to his children, unwillingly, not knowing, unconsciously, without vetting, without realizing his actions are affecting them, that now they are going to be adults that they have to heal from the trauma. No one really honestly knows what to do in life. And no one has a handbook of saying this is how you should be the perfect parent. This is what you should and shouldn't do. But as walking in my divine energy, my Christ-like conscience, being real and authentic with self, I realized I messed up. I realized I could have done better. I realized I wasn't that good of a parent like I thought I was. I took the classes, I read the books, I went to the school meetings, I did the wrestling, I went to every event. I didn't miss out on his childhood. I worked 3 jobs. I went without sleep. I provided. Doesn't make me a good parent. Makes me a decent human being, but doesn't make me a good parent. I didn't make proper choices along this journey. I didn't invite proper people into his life. I didn't show him what a woman should be treated like because I allowed less for myself. So if I allowed less for myself, why would he respect me to give me more than that? I didn't respect me. Who am I to think he should? I'm not saying it, I'm not making his wrongs right. He should not put his hands on his mother, let alone kick her out or get rid of her something that's important to her. That's here nor there, though. I have to grow through that because there's a lesson I must learn through that. But at the end of the day, it's not fair. It's not fair that I had to experience that, and it's not fair that he had to experience that neither. So I can't go around saying I'm a good parent because I was winging it. I was trying. But through that pain, I learned there was power in it. And I was able to grow to be a better person. I go around saying I'm perfect because not because I am. I'm striving to be. But that's the divine energy of self in walking in my woman energy, being authentic and real with self. Realizing that you have to admit your wrongs. Because when that time comes, you can't lie to the creator who knows all. Hi, Katana.
Hi.
Peace and blessings. I love you.
I love you too.
So today's message is power and pain. As a woman, there is power in pain. Do you receive that?
As a woman, there's power in pain.
As a woman, not a woman, as core of the universe, as is walking in her divine energy of self, walking in her true authenticness.
As if power and pain go hand in hand.
There is power and pain. Do they go hand to hand?
That's what I'm asking.
Yes,
And one doesn't exist without the other.
that's right. Because we can't grow through nothing unless we go through it.
Not
I
every
spoke, I apologize.
not everything that you go through is painful, but
Not everything.
everything that hurts you, you definitely learn from.
Yes. So I was saying that beforehand that you jumped on. They talked about Jesus disappearing from 13 to 33 or 31 or something. And where did he go and what did he do? No one talked on that. And I said, my perspective and my thinking is that he went and learned. He went to all the monks and to the all the different religions and whatnot, all the spiritual leaders, and learned, because he knew something we didn't know at the beginning of time. He knew he had a purpose. We didn't know we had a purpose. We didn't grow when we were first born knowing we had a purpose, not what it was. We knew there was a purpose. We just didn't know what it was.
Okay?
Do you receive that message?
I'm processing. I don't know if I received that as far as where Jesus went.
Oh yeah, no, I don't
Maybe I
know that
was a
either.
good. I don't know
I don't know either.
what
I'm
makes.
saying just my ideal. He had to
Yeah,
learn. I
your
thought,
ideology is that's what you think he went.
yeah, I have no clue. But knowing your purpose though in life, I think would make you want to walk differently in life. Because I've walked
Absolutely,
differently since I learned mine.
absolutely. That's the key right there.
Yes.
Learning what your purpose is.
Hmm.
You know how many people are walking around really dead because they just here. They don't even
Yeah.
know why, and they don't even know how to find out what their purpose is.
Right.
It's crazy.
So I was talking about a moment that I used to go around saying that I was a good parent, I was a good mom. Now I was good on the standards of what I was going off of my baseline of my parents.
Hmm.
I wasn't going off of what the ideal line of a good parent truly is though, because I was saying that I never vetted. You know what vetting is?
Absolutely.
I just learned what vetting was. I am
Oh my
49 years
goodness.
old and I just learned what vetting was.
You just learned at 49 what vetting is. Wow.
That's
Okay.
terrible. That's
Yes.
terrible. I jumped into situations without testing it first, without doing the checklist, without finding out if it was safe for me or my spawn to get into.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me a good parent.
You only know what you know, though. That doesn't make you a bad parent.
I get
If
that. I
you
didn't say
don't
I
know,
was one. No, I didn't say I was one, but I can't go around saying I'm a good parent if I didn't know how to vet. I took him into situations that weren't healthy for me nor him. So I can't be mad. I'm not justifying for his actions, but I can't be mad that he doesn't respect women nor me. Because I didn't respect me. And I didn't give him no examples to men that did. You feel that?
I do.
And that's what I was saying. I'm not justifying for him. He's an asshole, and I love him, but that's just what he is. And because them are the definitions he exudes.
Right.
He's disrespectful to me. He doesn't care for me the way I care for him, which he shouldn't. Because I obviously didn't care for him properly to show him this is my baseline. If you go into a situation with somebody and you allow them to walk on you as a doormat, they're going to continue walking on you because you didn't tell them, I don't accept that. That is not me. He never put his hands on me before in life, but I allowed others to. So how'd he think it was wrong too? You feel that part?
I do.
And that's what I was going off of. I'm not going off the fact of I was winging it. I know I was, and I was doing the best that I thought I would doing best. I thought I was being so much better than my parents, but I never vetted. I didn't even know what that meant. I'm gonna look for doctors and weigh out all my options of doctors and schools and everything before I involve my child in that. But I didn't do it for men because I didn't love myself and respect myself enough. I was searching for something that I didn't have to find within others. I had to find it within me. I thought I could find a man that would love me, that
That's all right.
would complete my
Zach,
life.
Zach, your steering wheel won't turn, and you're going to have a flat tire in the front. You need to.
I thought that, I was doing the best for me and him in the situations because I didn't allow people to do things, but they did things. Like I had a gentleman, and I can't call him a gentleman. I interacted with somebody prematurely when I was younger at 19, 20 that beat my son without me knowing. When I come home from work, my son would cry and wouldn't want me to go to work. I didn't know why. One day he was wet and I went to change his clothes and he was bruised. from the back of his neck down to his legs, where his shorts would cover it. I felt like the worst parent in the world. When I found out, I pressed charges and the guy went to prison. But at the
Hmm.
end of the day, I allowed that to happen, and I don't know how long. For the bruises to be discolored, it had to have been continuously going on without me knowing. I thought he just didn't want me to go to work. I didn't realize he was getting beat. He never said nothing.
He was
But
afraid.
the guy told him if he did, he'd kill him. I should have vetted first.
So, are you are you beating yourself up for not knowing?
Not at all. Not at
Oh,
all.
okay,
I'm
okay.
taking accountability for what I did do to make it better, to become a better individual, to be a better individual for self.
Did you have this conversation with your son?
I had, but it's not going to change anything because at the end of the day, he has to do that shadow work within himself to heal himself.
Did when you spoke to him, did he hear you?
Probably not.
I think it's worth
You're going in and out.
to him, but now that you know what vetting is, you have a clear understanding, and I think that uh, a revisit to the conversation could potentially help your son. I mean, how old is he?
31, going to be 32, and I will not revisit that situation anytime soon. He just put his hands on me about a month ago. There's no
Oh
way.
my god! Oh
And he
my
just
god!
got rid of my dog. The next step, I went to get my stuff the other day, and he swore at me and said to me, "If you're going to leave my house with your hands full of stuff, shut my door." Which I did shut it, but it blew back open because it doesn't latch properly. I apologized and said that wasn't my intent. I did pull it shut, but it blew open. He did
He's
not receive
angry.
that.
He's angry. He's
He is
angry.
angry at himself because he hit his mom, and instead of being able to justify that correctly, he's justifying it in a negative thing, saying he was raised by crappy parents, which he was raised by crappy parents. Even though I was a loving, caring mom, I never vetted. I didn't make sure the situation was safe for him in every environment I allowed into myself because it wasn't safe for me.
Can I get a medium hot, extra, extra, please? He's angry, and at 31, no, that's it. Thank you. At and at 31, um, yeah, he's already formed an opinion. He is the man that he is currently,
Mm-hmm.
and um, it's going to take him wanting to reconnect with his mom. Um, so yeah, I mean, I can see why you don't want to, but similar situation. My son, I gave birth to my son in prison, and for the first 5 years of his life, my mother raised him. So when my mother died, a piece of my son died. My
Yeah.
son was never in love with me, and it
Right.
wasn't that I wasn't there. It wasn't that I was a crappy parent, because when I came home, my mom had him as well as my older kids, and we integrated him back. My older kids, they never been without their mom. He didn't know me.
Right.
He knew me, but not the way that he was in love with my mother. So I want to say from the time he was 9 up until last year, this boy has given me the fucking blues. When I tell you, every way that he could give me his ass to kiss, he gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
No, he hid things from me. He lied to me. He just shut down, was closed off. And then one day, I mean, and throughout the whole time, I never turned my back on him. I always helped him as much as I could. When he was 16, I put him on one of my credit accounts. So when he turned 18, he had a credit score of 780. You know what I mean? That was one of the things that helped click that switch for him, and just seeing me stay on the course of loving him, and trying to be supportive to him. He just finally, the switch came on for him, and he said, "You dope, mom." He said, like he wrote me a bunch of long 50,000 page text messages and stuff, but the conversation that we had, he was like, "Mom, you are awesome. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't know who you were. Like, I love you, and I'm sorry that I've been a asshole all of these years, and I'm just so glad that you never gave up on me, and I want that for you. I wish that at some time that you can have that with your son, but it is possible because I thought I
Oh
was
yeah,
in
no,
trouble.
I don't think it's impossible. And the thing is, I was totally opposite. I was one of those constantly there, wrestling meets, everything. I made sure the parents were at houses. I did what I should have as a parent. I took parenting classes. I read parenting
Right,
books. Thought I was a good parent.
right. I was 224.
But the thing that what made my son no longer respect me is I stopped working, and all he knew was me working. So when
Right.
I stopped working, he slowly started. He always was slowly disrespecting me more and more and more because I accepted him. I loved him regardless, even if he would call me outside my name and stuff. I would tell him not to, and I tell him, that I don't accept that. But the thing is, I still loved him regardless of what he did. So with that being said, I gave him the example that no matter what he did to me, I wasn't going to not love him, which is true. But yet that allowed him to continue getting worse. There was signs, and I should have halted the signs at the beginning and said that it ain't cut like that, but I didn't because he was growing to find out who he was. So I allowed it. My son never ever would disrespect me until the people he was around, the girls he was around did, and I accepted him regardless. And
Mm.
it started getting bad at 20, 24, and that's when he started getting the worse. As he was little, though, he was the most respectful ever. Everybody would say, "Bring him over. He's such a polite child." He says, "Please, thank you." He's so well behaved. He was the role model of an ideal child. That's why I thought I was a good parent. And then as he got older and found his own ways, and he decided, I was picking men over him, which I was, and they weren't good men. I didn't vet. I didn't
That's
know what that was.
that's what he's feeling, that you chose those
Yes.
situations
Yeah.
over.
I know. He told me, and I told him I did. I agreed to it. I know I did. And I told him I can't undo that, but I'm not who I was then. And I apologize for that, but I can't make it right because I can't change the past. All I can do is show you a different example,
That's
which I
right.
did, but he said that because I stopped working and I was still positive and I was still this and I was still a great individual, excluding great energy, and he had a struggle that he would his my I don't know if I can say it properly, but my light affected his demons.
Yeah.
So seeing me positive regardless, even if I don't go and do a 9 to 5 job anymore, I'm seeing the universe still providing and seeing that he can't change my energy and make me feel the way he felt
Hmm.
made it worse for him because he wanted me to feel his pain, not
Right.
just say I could relate to it and I received it and I apologize for it. He wanted me to
Right.
feel it.
Yeah.
And I knew that because after he put his hands on me, he went and broke my laptop that I used for the podcast. And then he tried breaking the tablet. And then he tried to break these glasses that he thought were mine, weren't mine, which they were already broke. But he was like trying to ruin everything that would hurt me. So then he just got rid of my dog, which I love so much. And he knows that the dog meant a lot to me. And yet he's trying to hurt me so I could feel what he feels.
Yep.
And I received that. But at the end of the day, I will not allow that. I will not accept that
You
because I was
shouldn't.
young then and I am not who I was then.
You shouldn't allow it.
No, and I won't. And I told him, I wrote him a message which he may never read. And if he doesn't, that's on him because I don't care. I said it. I told him, from here out, I'm going to get the rest of my stuff from your place. And I don't want no connections with you from here out. I will be there for my grandchildren. And that is it because one day you may kill me. And I love me too much. I'm a better person than I ever was my whole entire life because everything I went through, I grew through because I
He
didn't
got
allow
it.
that
Yeah.
pain
He got to get through it. He got to get to that point.
on his own. And I can't do nothing about it. I apologized. I told
Yep.
him he needed to do shadow work. He told me I was wrong, that he was fine. This was before he put his hands on me. I had a whole one-to-one conversation with him and apologized and told him. I didn't tell him about vetting because I really just learned what it was. But I did tell him that I chose men over him. You're right. I wasn't a good mom. You're right. I allowed things to happen to you I shouldn't have. You're right. I never used the word vetting because like I said, I just learned what it was. I
Mm.
just saw a TikTok that told me what it was. I don't know things because I didn't experience things. I didn't see those things. Like drugs. I didn't know drugs until I got to live in that life of experiencing drugs. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know I didn't know how a woman's supposed to properly be treated. To this day, I haven't been treated correctly ever by anybody. I had moments. I had moments that were good to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I mean, and that's only because of me. That's because of what I allowed myself to. So I know what vetting is. I'm telling you right now, I'm a vetting fool. You don't even think we're about dating. Don't even think we're gonna get it. You ain't get none of this. I'm vetting you because I'm sacred. My body is sacred. I'm gonna say
Listen,
Sullivan.
let me tell you something. Vetting doesn't stop after you think you know a person.
Oh,
Vetting
I get that.
continues. The
I
vetting
get that.
continues throughout the entire. For me, vetting is multifaceted, and before I could even consider allowing someone in my intimate space and having access to me, a certain type of access to me, I need to see them in different phases of their life. I need to
Yes,
see them with an income loss, an income gain, death of someone that's really close to them, situations would test their integrity. I need to see them in all those, plus more, different ways, because the core of a person will never change. The
facts.
cosmetics of a person will always change depending on the situation.
Facts.
So, one thing that I am very mindful of is my audience. And no matter what my audience is, I'm only Katana and I can only be Katana. Now, a lot of people will say, like, I put something in my chat yesterday, and one of my members messaged me and said, "What's going on with you? You coming off really hot, really aggressive." Me,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, no voice. You might have to back out and come back again. Can't hear you. Yeah. Every time we get phone calls and we get disruptions every single time something important's about to be said. She's gonna jump back on and she's gonna finish her story. But yeah, I'm not excusing anything, and I will not stop learning what I learned what vetting was, and now that I know, anything that I do for myself from here out is pure ignorance because I am allowing it by choice. So I am going to vet. I'm going to vet the rest of my life from here out because now I know what it means.
yeah,
Okay, continue.
anytime someone calls me, it messes up the sound.
Yeah,
So, so she called me. She knows me. She said, "What's going on with you?" She said, "You coming off hot. You being, it's sounding like you're being aggressive, to some people who most people who don't know me intimately, they wouldn't know that. They would just probably take offense,
yeah,
as to what I was saying. But I was just really communicating the fact that, my chat, my BDSM chat is for my members. Like, I
yeah,
got I have what I need, and what I want. And if I want something else, I know how to seek it. But I provide a space for you guys to learn, and you guys not even engaging and talking to each other. I'm seeing all of your, little bubbles drop, but you're not answering the questions, or you're not asking questions, and it's frustrating. So that was what I was trying to convey, was my frustration, and not being aggressive or making someone not want to talk. But again, that's my personality and who I am. I am very fair, firm, and impartial. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It is what it is. A lot of times my delivery can stink. And I
yeah,
own that, and I'm working on that.
yeah.
But the message, no matter how good the message is, if your delivery stinks to your audience, they're not gonna receive nothing that you say. So
For,
I say all of that to say the vetting process never stops, because As you live with someone, you learn them. As they go through things, you go through things.
Yeah.
You learn each other, and you're constantly learning because nobody knows a person better than that person.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that person is going to show you their representative at first. Once they
Yeah.
feel safe enough, then they're going to show you a little bit more. And
Yeah.
then when you spend enough time with them, you go to see for yourself because a person will always tell you who they are, but their actions going to show you who they really are.
Facts. Facts.
You know what I
Facts.
mean?
Facts.
So all of that is encompassed in vetting.
Yeah, no, I received that now that I learned. I knew a lot of things, but I didn't know the definition word of it, so I didn't know exactly really what it was. Now that I do, and I was saying when you got disappeared for a second, anything I do from here out would be pure ignorance because now I know. I know. I'm not going to walk around
Now,
and
so you
repeat
do
those
better.
cycles again
Right.
because I know better.
Yeah.
But I was saying, I was gonna say that when I went to my simpaticos yesterday, who said she might be a little late, but she might not. And Crystal, we gotta pray for Crystal. Her daughter's in the hospital, so she's
Oh,
not in
yeah.
the right
Okay.
headspace. So, when I was saying that to my simpatico, I went and took my clothes there, and I didn't say nothing to her, but simpatico means like-minded energy, so I don't have to say nothing to her for her to feel me. So when I went there, I took my clothes there and before I left, she said, I want to say something to you. And I said, yeah. She said, you're heavy. She said, do not leave this house with that heaviness on because it's going to affect people on the outside. So drop it
Hmm.
at the door. She
Right.
told me to leave
Don't
it at
bleed on
her
people
house
who
and
ain't
drop it
cut
at
you.
her door.
Don't bleed on people who ain't cut you.
And I love
That's
that
what
of
that
her
meant.
because when I got here where I am and I was moving my stuff, I felt agitated because of what happened with my son and what he done to me and him
Hmm.
getting rid of my dog and stuff. I said I was getting myself agitated and the first thing that popped in my head was my simpatico. I was like, you're right. I apologize. I caught myself beforehand because then I would have expressed it down to people that didn't deserve it.
Hmm.
So I love the people that the universe gave me into my life. I love you, and your strength gives me power and
Oh,
feeds
yeah.
me. I love my simpatico. I love Crystal. I love the amazing, beautiful people that the universe has blessed me with because my family ain't shit. But the universal family that but the universe gave me,
That's your
she
family.
she gave me such a beautiful family.
Blood don't make you family, man.
Mm,
I got business partners and people who, I met in the last 20 years who I would walk on fire for, step on broken
yeah.
glass for. I got family that I wouldn't spit on if they was on fire. So I definitely know what that means.
But there's so much power in that pain. Like, because of the pain I was experiencing yesterday, I was able to receive a different message from it. I didn't allow it to affect me and suppress me and get me down and make me feel like I am beating myself up over something. I
Right.
can't beat myself up over something I've grown through.
You can't beat yourself over something you didn't know either. You only know
Yeah,
what you
and I
know.
grew from it. Like, I am not that person no more. Nobody is in
It
my
take
adult life.
but it's gonna take people to catch up to your conversation. Just because you get it now, that don't mean that they ready to get it. That
That's true too.
or they
That's
can
true too.
receive it. That's
That's
just
true
with your
too.
son. He not ready. He not ready to let go of that. He's built to. That means that he
Yeah,
has to do work on himself.
facts,
Forgiving
and that's what I
you,
told him. Yeah,
forgiving you means that he got to change, and he may not want to change.
facts, facts, and that's okay because I don't care at the end of the day. Because, like I said, when it
You do
comes time to
care.
meet the Maker, and our Most High says to me, "What have I done?" I'm gonna be so transparent and so real and authentic to self because I forgave me already,
Good job.
and that's all it takes. Is because I can't undo a yesterday, but I can make it better now for a better tomorrow if it comes.
Yeah, that's
And I love
absolutely
that
true.
about me because I wrote a message earlier and I'm so proud of who I am. I'm so proud to say this. I didn't grow. I was still 40 years old, still growing. And I'm still growing today. I'm not saying I'm done
Age
growing.
don't make you mature.
No, not at all. That's what I was gonna say. I was 40 years old and still selling myself short to people that didn't deserve to be in my presence. But now, as my adulthood And then I'm calling my adulthood recently because after I did that fast, I grew so much. So during my adulthood, not everybody can get my energy, and not everybody has. And I love that about me. I'm selective with who I get in my energy now.
Listen,
And I can say
past,
no now.
past couple of days, it's been in my download. You deserve what you settle for, and that in itself is a simple phrase that speaks so much volume to me.
Yeah.
You deserve what you settle for. If you ain't happy
Mm.
with your job, change it. Do something else.
Yeah. What's meant for me shall be for me. And I'm so grateful with that because I am going to live my best life for me regardless. Because I can't stop my blessings. And I'm no longer going to put barricades up to try to make it slower and harder for me to get to them.
Right.
I'm so blessed and highly favored. I am so grateful and humbled just to be able to speak on a platform. Just be able to get that message out so other people can see that they're not alone.
Right.
Because those that will need to hear it will hear it.
Sure will.
So that's why I said, as a woman walking my divine energy of self, there is power in my pain because I'm not going to allow it to become pain that has to sit in and eat and swallow. Not at all.
That's awesome. I love that for you.
Thank you. So tell us one thing before we go, because I'm not going to keep this long, but tell us one thing that you could pass on to the next individual that hears us, that needs to know.
That needs to know. One thing that I know about pain is that anything that hurts you, like losing money, if you walked out of your house with $500 in your pocket and you went from this point A to point B and you lost it, that would make you more mindful. That would sting, and it would make you more mindful of your personal property, and you would be more conscious of what you're doing. Non-stop. This just happened to me. My good friend of mine, we're vetting, we're dating, we're in our dynamic. He bought me, he gave me a very expensive vehicle, which only had one key, and I lost the key 3 hours after he gave it to me. So, in hopes that the key would turn up, and it hasn't. That renders that vehicle useless right now, right? The easy thing is, hey, just go and get another key cut. But certain cars, it's a process. So, going through the process, but it changed me because I disappointed someone who tried to help me. I disappointed, I wasn't careful with my things. And in that moment, I was rushing. And I don't have to rush for anything. You
Oh,
do not have to rush for anything. Anything or anyone. You don't have to rush. And you have to be more conscious and know your surroundings, know the people that you're around, know the things that are important in making you successful and you getting the things done that you want to get done. So I say that to say, and what I leave you with is don't rush for anything. Everything that's worth it takes time. Everything that grows takes time. Nothing is
mhm.
instant. Take your time and get to know people. That's what vetting is.
Yeah. So there is power in that pain.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. I love that for you. I honestly do. I receive that because I can relate to that. That is beautiful. And that's what I too have learned along this little situation that I allowed myself to grow through with my son. I learned that I put myself in that situation because I thought I could trust and knew him. I don't know him. He don't know him. So how am I supposed to? So I learned that I need to make sure that I'm okay from here out, that I won't lose nothing ever again neither.
Yeah,
And if I do, it's because I did something wrong, not because someone took it from me.
correct.
So I want everybody's night to be full of positive energy and high vibrations, and learn that you are worthy, and slow down and enjoy the now,
That's right.
and show love to those that love you, and love yourself first and foremost.
I say, I say.
Ashe, ashe, everyone. Thank you.